Hi everybody, it's the Soap Man. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm going to try a small batch of soap, just experimenting. I'm doing soap sort of the way Grandma used to do it. I know back in the pioneer days when Grandma made her own soap, a lot of us have an image of an elderly woman standing by a big cast iron pot over a fire stirring her lye soap, and actually that's how I got my idea. I am a child of the 70s. I grew up in the 70s. I loved watching the reruns of the Beverly Hillbillies. I'm 50 years old now, and I still love watching reruns of the Beverly Hillbillies. And I have images of Granny standing out by the cement pond stirring her big cauldron of homemade lye soap. And of course, we also have images back in those days of the soap being really, really harsh and caustic. Grandma didn't have lye calculators, so I'm sure Grandma eventually got a recipe down pat that made a pretty good soap, but I'm sure some batches were really harsh and caustic, and I imagine some of them were kind of oily or didn't have enough lye in it. Fortunately, we don't have to do that now, but I did actually render some lard, my own lard, the way Grandma would have done it, although Granny on the Beverly Hillbillies used possum fat. Now, where you find enough possum in Beverly Hills to make that much soap, I have no idea, but that was just part of the storyline. But I'm doing just a very simple soap. This is lard that I actually rendered myself. Now, I was not able to find just really good quality hog fat. I ended up buying some hog jowls, cutting them up and cooking them for 3 hours, and then my oil, the lard, was very, very clear. I probably should have just poured it and strained it, but I thought I would refine it one pass, so I did what's common, put it in some water in a pot and boiled it, put it in the refrigerator overnight, let the fat float to the top and harden. And now that it's melted down, it's really cloudy. I'm not sure what it's going to look like, but we're just going to give it a shot and see. So anyway, this is lard, actually rendered myself. I'm going to be doing just plain lard soap the way Granny used to do it. Now, Granny, once again, didn't have a stick blender. Thank goodness we have these unsung heroes today for soap making. But this is going to be at least similar. Now, also, I'm doing just cold process, so I guess maybe it's not really quite the same way Granny did, but it's still along the same concept. Also, I wanted to show you the soap I made this week. I told you how the brown would start to darken. So look how the scent oil is starting to darken. This is not what I was expecting. I was expecting a nice clear line here, a nice yellow here, a nice brown here, and a nice white top. So this does smell like I was expecting. It really smells nice. I'm really happy with this so far. I'm getting ready to put it away up on the drying rack, but I wanted to go ahead and do this first. So here we go. Let's see what happens. I made 100% lard soap the first batch I ever did. It took forever to come to trace, and then it was so hard, my gosh, it lasted forever and ever and ever. I ended up cutting a lot of it up and using it in the laundry. I had to boil it to get it to dissolve. It was so hard. So this may take a long time to come to trace. I don't know. We'll see. Tell it's going to. And I want a nice thick trace for this. I made a 100% tallow soap one time, and it took a long time to come to trace. So if I were to stir this, I could sit and stir this like Granny did, but it would take a long, long, long time of stirring, and nobody wants to sit and watch that forever. So even with a stick blender, and I'm using the high button, it's taken quite a while to come to trace. Now this is a semi-thin trace. I could go ahead and pour this right now and I'm sure it would set up fine, but I really, since I'm just doing plain lard soap, no fancy frills, I really want it a little thicker. there. Every pass it's a little bit thicker. I'll probably just do one more and go ahead and pour it. One good thing about this kind of soap, there's not much cleanup. I don't have all those, I don't have colors to measure, and I don't have scents to measure. One of these bars, I'm going to put this in my muffin mold. One bar I am going to put a small amount of scent in, probably just in one of the muffins, simply because this is just the residual I had. I don't want that to go to waste. That's just the residual that I had from making the soap last week, and I don't want that to go to waste. But the rest of these are going to look like Grandma's bar. It should be a very, very hard bar, no colors, no scents, nothing fancy frilly. Lard soap doesn't have the greatest lather either. It takes a lot of friction to get some lather. So why am I doing it? Well, why not? I just like to experiment and kind of do something different. And kind of this, I think this also gives us an opportunity to appreciate our soaps more these days because of these wonderful stick blenders and the lye calculators and the way we can make designs. Alright, that's all I'm going to do because I don't want to burn my stick blender up. The first batch I made, I burned a brand new stick blender up. And that's nice and well. That's not as thick as I wanted, but that's good enough. And we'll stir some of the bubbles out. It got a lot of bubbles in it because it's a shallow batch. Okay. Does this smell like bacon? Yes, it does. Even though that's one reason I boiled it, was to cook some of that off. I could have done 2 or 3 more passes and gotten some of the bacon smell out, but that bacon smell is not going to survive saponification. The first and only time I made 100% lard soap, I used store-bought lard, which had been refined, had no smell to it, but actually when the soap was making and when it was cooking or basically saponifying, the room smelled like pork chops. So it did not stick to saponification. This will not either, so I'm not worried about it smelling like bacon right now. And I'm going to have more bars than I thought. I really didn't want this many, but, you know, whatever. I'll probably use this in the laundry. I will almost certainly use this in the laundry. And I'll probably, since this is plain and non-colored, I'll probably keep a couple in my locker at the Y. When I put it back in my locker, I usually pat it dry with the towels, and I try not to take ones with vivid colors because it stains their white towels, and I hate to stain their towels. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put this little bit of scent oil in this one. I thought I had a tiny whisk in here, but maybe not. Just use my spoon. Probably threw it away, thought I'll never use it. So anyway, and I am going to go ahead and cover this and let it gel. This small one I'm going to put the scent in just because that was a little bit left over and I hate to let it go to waste. But there we have it. Nothing fancy, plain and simple. At least similar to the way Grandma made it before. I'll see you tomorrow for the cutting. Or the popping out of the mold anyway. Thanks everybody. Bye.